Good morning, folks, and welcome to this week's installment of the lesson series. In this installment of the lesson series, we're going to continue on the fingerpicking and look at Fishin Blues. Now, here's the interesting thing about this song to me, a little fact. I always assumed it was written by Taj Mahal, don't make assumptions, right? You guys probably already knew this, or a lot of you did. It was written by a guy named Chris Smith way back in 1911. It was first recorded in 1928 by a guy that went by the name Ragtime Texas. His name was actually Henry Thomas. And it didn't have all the finger picking on it. If you go on YouTube and you find it and listen to it, it's strummed. And there's a break by a bagpipe in there, or a type of bagpipe. I always assumed when I heard that song it was a penny whistle, but on researching it, I found that it's a kind of bagpipe. So anyway, I'd encourage you to go check it out. There you go, interesting fact of the day. So now the version I'm going to teach you is the way that I play it, and somewhat the way Taj Mahal plays it. All right. So I'm in drop D tuning to start with, which just means I'm in standard tuning and I've dropped my E string down to D. So let's go through it. D, A, D, G, B, E. Okay, so I can make all my chords. My D, my G becomes this in this song, and A, and of course E. All right, and we'll explain how all that works as we go through the lesson. So to start with, let me just demonstrate it for you, and then because it's really the same thing over and over, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so now that we've looked at it, let's first just take a look at what chords are in it. So you've got D, all right, and that is going to be string 6, 5, 4 open. String 3, you're going to put your first finger on the 2nd fret. String 2, you're going to put your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret. And string 1, you're going to put string 3, you're going to put your 1st finger on the 2nd fret. String 2, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, and string 1, you're going to put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret. Okay? Now, G. And the form of G that I play is this in this song. It's 6th string on the 5th fret, open 4th, 3rd string, and then my 1st finger on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and I block the 5th string, with the fat of this finger, and I mostly keep the top string blocked with the fat of my 1st finger. All right, then of course we have E and E7. So to play E, I just take my 2nd finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, my 3rd finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, my 1st finger, 1st fret of the 3rd string, and then let the top 2 strings ring open, and I'm using the fat of my 2nd finger to block off the 5th string. Hear that? It's just blocked. And then for the E7th, I simply do that, and then I put my pinky on the 2nd string on the 3rd fret. Now the form of A that I use in this mostly is a standard A, where I'm going to bar across the 4th through the 1st strings, and then put my pinky on the 5th fret on the 1st string, and let the 5th string ring open. I will also use the old standard, all right, which is, there's 2 ways that I play this chord. 3 ways, actually, if you get into it. And that's because I got some lessons from a guy that was a flamenco player. And I kind of adapted that to the way that I voice the chords. So the first way I voice it, and the most common, would be to either just bar across the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings on the 2nd fret, and play, of course, the 5th string open, and don't play other strings, right? But if I want that high E, or the 1st string to ring, which I do in this song, I will sometimes take my 1st finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, my 2nd finger 2nd fret of the 4th string, and my 3rd finger 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and play the 5th and the 1st open. Okay, there's that. And then sometimes you can do the old flamenco way, which means you're going to basically bar across or double stop on the 2nd fret across the 4th and 3rd string, and then take your 2nd finger, and that's with your 1st finger, and then take your 2nd finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. You get the same. I have a tendency to just fall into the one that I learned as a youngster, which is where I just use all 3 fingers and point them in on the 2nd fret. All right, there's one more form of D that I'm going to use in this. All right, and that's way up at the 7th fret, where I am going to bar 3, 2, and 1 string across the 7th fret, and then put my pinky up on the 10th fret on the 1st string, and everything else can be open. There, and there's one more chord that I play, and that is a, I guess it would be, I don't know, G sharp diminished or something like that. Anyway, it's like that. I play it like that. It sounds weird, but I use it in my version. And that's basically taking my, taking my 3rd finger and putting it on the 6th fret on the 6th string, my pinky, and putting it on the 6th fret on the 2nd string, and pretty much letting whatever strings I'm going to hit ring open, and then I bring that down to play a G7th to the 3rd fret. So I've got my, on the 3rd fret, I've got my 3rd finger on the 6th string, my pinky on the 2nd string. Okay? All right, and then it's back to the regular chords. So let's jump into it. All right, so in the first place, when Taj Mahal did this song, originally it was just strummed like Henry Thomas did that on a lot of his music, okay? Excuse me. But Taj Mahal does alternating bass. And to start with, that's on the 2 D strings, which is string 6 and 4. All right, that doesn't change through the first part of the song. All right, so what's he doing? Here's the melody line. He's outlining a D chord. All right, and he's doing that while he's doing this. All right, and all that is 2nd fret, 3rd string, open 2nd string, 3rd fret, 2nd string, open 1st string, 2nd fret, 1st string, open 1st string, 3rd fret, 2nd string, and then he hammers on the 1st string onto the 2nd fret. And look, it makes the D chord. So it's kind of, you want to have that chord in your mind when you play this. Okay? And then he goes, or I go. I think Taj Mahal goes. I've always simplified that. So, what do? Let's look at that. Okay, so I've got that D, right, already, because I've gone. Then I'm just going to go and pull off the 2nd fret on the 1st string, and then just play the other chord. Almost like a roll is the way I do it. Now, if you want to play it, and the roll goes, and then I'm going to have the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. All right, now if you want to play it like Taj Mahal, you're going to want to go, which is just the same thing I did. Got that pull off. But then instead of rolling down, you're going to play the 3rd fret on the 2nd string and then the open 2nd string. Okay, and then you jump to the G chord, and where you got the G, remember, your 3rd finger's on the 5th fret on the 6th string. Your 1st finger is on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and you're going to let the 1st string ring open, but you're going to pluck strings 6, 3, and 2. And then, immediately after, you're going to pluck the open 1st string, or at least that's how I do it. And then I go back to the D chord, and I play strings 3 and 2. So it goes. Okay, so here's how we are so far. All right, now the next part, we're still with the D chord. All right, so we're going to go 2nd fret on the 3rd string, open 2nd string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string. So, all right, and it's just basically the same thing as we did in the beginning. So, 3rd string, 2nd fret, open 2nd string, 3rd fret, 2nd string, open 1st string, and then 2nd fret, 1st string, pull off to open, and then 3rd fret, 2nd string, and then hammer on to the 2nd fret on the 1st string. And then we're going to play. At least this is the way I do this. Now, I don't think Taj Mahal does this way, but this was always easier for me. So, basically, I'm making that E chord, and I'm hammering on the 1st fret on the 3rd string, right? And then doing that little, I guess it's like a little roll. So I hit it, boom, hammer on, and then 2, 1, and then 3rd fret on the 2nd string. All right? And all the while, I'm still going 6, 4, 6, 4, 6. All right? And then I go, which is basically just an arpeggio of that A chord that I showed you, where you bar across the 2nd fret, 4 through 1, and your pinky goes on the 5th fret of the 1st thing. So I'm just going to go. So my bass line moves to 5-4 for this. All right? And I'm going strings 2, 3, and then I'm using the bass line to catch 4, and then I'm hitting the 1st string. All right, now I move up here to this D, where I'm going to bar the top 3 strings at the 7th fret and put my pinky at the 10th fret. And I do this. All right, I know that's different from what Taj does. Okay, so that's this. And that's just an old ragtime, excuse my dog is sort of excited right now, I don't know why. And that's an old ragtime move. So you're going to go with the pinky on the 10th fret, 10 on the top string, the 1st string, 10, 7, and then 10, 7 on the 2nd string. And then you're going to slide that in from the 6th to the 7th on the, top 3 strings. Well, but you're going to only play strings 3 and 2. So you're going to go, all right, which is 6 to 7 on the 2nd string, and then 7 on the 3rd string, 9 on the 4th string, 7 on the 3rd string. So, and that is going to be caught with your thumb while you're playing bass. excuse me, sometimes I get a little confused explaining this stuff even. I may not be qualified for this job, folks. Now, this little G move, go back to your basic G chord, and then you're going to jump to that diminished chord, or sort of diminished chord I showed you that I play. All right, now you're going back to playing 6-4, 6-4. All right, so you're going to play that boom, and then I always catch strings 4, 3, and 2, like that. Boom, catch them, and then when I come back down and I hit 6, I catch the first string along with it. Boom, bum, ba, da. Now, that's, of course, I'm catching the second string and I'm just holding that G. All right, and then I'm jumping up to the 6th fret with my pinky on the 6th fret on the 2nd string and my third finger on the 6th fret on the 6th string. And I'm basically playing this, string 2, 1, 2, 1, while holding that chord. So 2, 1, 2, 1, and then I move that whole contraption down to the 3rd fret and go 2, 1, all the time keeping. By itself, it sounds real weird. Then I go back to the D. So same riff as the very beginning again. So I won't even bother showing you that. Then I shift. All right, so I shift and I bar strings 2, or I'm sorry, strings 3, 2, and 1 with my first finger, and I put my second finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, which is another way to make a D chord. But that allows me, with my small hands, to jump up to the 5th fret with my pinky, see? Because what I'm going to do is go on the first string, 2, 5, 2, and then G, 2, 1, 2, 1. That's strings. This is frets. 2, 5, 2, and then string 2, 1, 2, 5, 2, 2, 1, 2. And then I just arpeggiate the D. Arpeggiate D, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 with an A chord. And that's the whole thing. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. All right, that's the whole tune. So let me just play it again for you. If you have any questions, I know this has probably been a little confusing just because of my headspace today. But let me play through it again for you. And then if you have more questions, please feel free to hit me up in the comments. You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Ask me questions wherever you want to. Instagram. All right, so here we go. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Please go check out Henry Thomas's version of this tune. He also goes by Ragtime Texas. It's super cool, especially whenever he gets the little, like the little flute in there and all that good stuff. And, of course, the great Taj Mahal. All right, so, hey, have a good week, and most of all, enjoy.